Welcome back to Preservation Travels with Lane and Kevin. Today, we have for you the most historically intact house we've ever brought you. Well, here we are in the Edward Reichhardt house. This beautiful home was started in 1870, but in a much different shape than we see it today. Here you can see the original 3-room cottage that this home began its life as. By 1886, we have the grand Queen Anne style home that you're going to see today. This home over its life has only had 3 owners. The first family that owned this property owned it until 2007, and then it was briefly owned by another family, and then the beautiful couple with their children that haven't now purchased the home. She miraculously writes federal and state income tax credit projects for historic properties. So she has preserved and restored this property to its highest and best. This is not a property for someone who wants to come in and remodel. This is a property for someone who is a preservationist at heart. So this is an elite level project, people. This house doesn't need you to come in and change anything. It needs you to come in and love it and respect it for the miraculous surviving work of art that it is. So let me take you on a little tour of this time capsule of a historic home. Well, it's not a museum, but it might as well be. Now, this is a room that can be completely lived in and is fully functional for today's living, but it is as it was in 1886, okay? I need you to see the original elements in this room. The wallpaper on the ceilings, in the coved cornices and on the walls, all original. This is the original wallpaper that has been on these walls since 1886. We have our original picture rail that is ombre. I've never seen it before. Since 1886. Behind me, one of the many beautiful faux marble mantels in this house. Now this mantel is actually cast iron with a slate mantelpiece painted to look like marble. And inside it has 2 portrait medallion tiles in a fabulous glaze that almost seem to have an internal luminescence. They are unbelievable. They look like they glow from behind, but I promise they don't. Other elements in this room that have been here since this home was built. Over the windows, we have the valances. They have been here since this room was built. We have the curtain tiebacks for our portieres with the original portiere rod and the original rings, and they have their original tiebacks. I've never seen that before. Of course, we have our glorious pocket doors. We have a stick and ball mashrabia. This room is a museum masterpiece of preservation. And of course, a treat that we've never been able to bring you before. A working gasolier that has been displaying its beautiful gas flame for 150 years right in this spot. It's important that you see the portraits that are on the walls. These are the Eichhardts. These 2 portraits, Edward and his wife, have been hanging here since this room was built. This is where they have been and hopefully where they will stay. The portrait below them is Mrs. Reichardt and all of their children. Then on the opposite wall, we have their niece who inherited the home and lived here and retained it until it was sold out of the family for the first time. So this room with the pier mirror that has been here since day one, the wallpaper, the cornices, everything is original. I have to draw your attention to this amazing summer screen. That is period. It's mirrored. It's the first one like this I've seen. And I love the fact that they were thinking, even with this small detail, how to reflect light, how to bounce light back and forth in this room to keep it brighter during those dark months of fall and winter. So we have a pier mirror on this side, we have the mirrored summer screen on this side, bouncing light around this room from our original gasolier. Let's go across to the informal parlor. Here we are in the family parlor. I'm standing underneath the second functioning original gasolier. Those two things alone should be enough to make you want to buy this house. But if they're not, let me show you some other things in this family or informal parlor that will make you fall in love. First of all, I have to note that all of the wood downstairs, with the exception of the banister and handrail on the staircase, are pine, heart pine, but every inch of wood has been faux bois finished. Every inch. Even the most minuscule pieces of trim in the architraves and entablatures around the doors have had faux wood graining. It's unbelievable. You'll see above me what looks like a wallpaper border, and I'm sure a lot of you are going to think, oh, why do they have wallpaper border? No, this is the original palm frond stencil. Portions of it are original to the home and portions of it have been recreated. But standing in this room, you can't tell which is which. So from the picture rail up, we have the palm frond and then the ceiling stencil that are the original color scheme and the original design to the room. Behind me, we have another beautiful cast iron mantle that has been faux marble. It's absolutely stunning, in perfect condition, and a gorgeous overmantel. This little piece over here is very, very important. Now the rug, the carpet in the formal parlor is very old. It's not original, it's probably 1920s, but it's been there for a very long time. This is the original carpeting that was in this house. Unfortunately, there were huge sections of it that were completely threadbare, so they couldn't be retained and kept as carpets on the floor, but the current owners were sure to retain a large segment of it for display. So this room, another absolute masterpiece. Behind this, we have a study, so come through with me. Here is what was and always has been a gentleman's study. I love this space. You can see that it's still used as a study today. We have another exquisite faux painted mantle with more of those beautiful three-dimensional portrait tiles inset within, and gorgeous original summer screens. I love this elephant rocking horse. I know it has nothing to do with the house, and it's probably not even an antique, but I think he's fantastic. And if I were buying this house, I'd feel the need to negotiate him in. Let's take a look at this incredible center hall design that we have with the rising staircase so you can see just how magnificent this space is.
This episode is brought to you by Monk Pack. Monk Pack offers low sugar, keto-friendly bars that are plant-based, gluten-free, and non-GMO. They're the perfect snack for anyone who's trying to eat better or cut back on sugar and carbs without sacrificing taste. Monk Pack Keto granola bars and nut and seed bars contain 1 gram of sugar or less, 2 to 3 grams of net carbs, and each bar contains 150 calories or less. Monk Pack bars have an amazing chewy texture and come in delicious flavors like sea salt dark chocolate and caramel sea salt. I'm gonna take one to Lane now because she's getting kind of hangry while she's sewing.
Lane, I have something for you.
What?
It's a little snack.
Are you handing me food?
It's a Monk Pack snack.
Why are you handing me a Monk Pack?
Because you're hangry.
I'm hungry at my sewing machine because it's not working. Do I need to eat?
Yes,
Okay.
you need to eat.
Well.
That's what Monk Pack is good for.
Oh God. That will help. Will it help my sewing machine?
Maybe.
Want to get 20% off your next order of Monk Pack? Well, go to monkpack.com and enter code RESTORATION at checkout, or click the link below.
So right now you see me standing in what is the back end of the central hall. Again, we have another glorious stick and ball mashrabia with the original portiere holder and its rings, its original tiebacks, and behind me down the hall you see that glorious art glass entryway with the side light and transom, and then the center panel of the front door is that snowflake etched glass, one of our favorite patterns. But none of that from the mashrabia forward was here when this home was first built. I am standing in what was the original entryway of this home, and here behind me is the original front door. In the entryway on that end of the front hall, you can see a delineation in the way that the pine boards run, and that is because in 1886 a front porch was added on. The front was extended out about 6 feet and then further on to a front porch to add the glorious Queen Anne design porch that we see today. So a totally different way to think about home building than we have now. Again, remember this started out as a 3-room basic vernacular cottage and eventually transformed into a 4,000 square foot Queen Anne showpiece, almost mansion level home as it transitioned, had a floor added onto it, rooms added onto the bottom, and the floor plan was completely changed. Look at this space. Wonderful space. Behind me and all around the room, you can see this wainscoting that is in these alternating colors of stain. Now remember, this is all pine that's just been stained to resemble different types of wood utilized in this space. That wonderful Victorian ingenuity that we have. I'm standing in front of, or actually I'm standing behind, the original dining room table that has always been in this house since this dining room was added onto the space. This dining room table, the original pier mirror and portraits in the living room, and the original pier mirror that we see here in the dining room are available with the purchase of the home, but only for someone who's going to maintain the home as it is now. If you don't like antiques, you don't care about the museum quality of this home, they will be donated to a museum. So once again, if this is not the home for you, be okay with the fact that this home is not for you, because someone out there wants this home and wants to keep it as pristine as it is today. Look at this. This is an original pass-through from the kitchen. So I'm not going to open the door because the current owners have things stored in here, but the other side opens up to the kitchen. So food could be passed through while it was being prepared, kept in here until the next course was being served and pulled out. It'd be nice and warm while it was in there, and it is in its original condition today. The wallpaper on these walls may look familiar to you. It is the same pattern that is in the living room, but that pattern was replicated by this wallpaper company. They were allowed to replicate the paper in several different colorways, and so there is a colorway that matches the living room. There is this colorway, and then you'll notice on the first floor bathroom, there is an additional colorway that's used in that space. Let's take a look at the kitchen. Well, here we are in what I think is probably one of the best laid out kitchens for a home of this era that I've ever seen, because everything is kind of hidden away from you. First of all, here's the back side of that pass-through that we just saw in the dining room. Then we have this enormous island that has a hammered copper countertop, which I love. And then inset in it is your dishwasher, your sink, your stove. So you have a huge workspace right here in this kitchen. And so it doesn't interfere with your huge original windows, which all of them are covered in new storms. So you have wonderful energy efficiency with your original wavy glass windows. It doesn't interfere with your gorgeous original beadboard that you have on these walls, or take away from these two doorway accesses that you need. This one accesses a back door for a back porch, and then the laundry room, which of course we all need, is right here, and then a huge walk-in pantry. So an incredibly well thought out, functional bar seating space in a 19th century home. We just don't get that very often. Now, let's head upstairs. Who wants to walk up that incredible staircase with me? Let's go. At the top of the stairs, we find the bathroom for the extra bedrooms. You'll notice it still has its original beadboard with its two-tone stained finish present on the ceilings and the walls. At the end of the long hall, you have the main suite. It's a huge room surrounded by windows flooding it with natural light. And best of all, you have an enormous main suite bath. Hex tiles, a clawfoot tub, and an antique washboard basin make this the perfect main suite bath. The 3 additional bedrooms are all huge rooms, once again flooded with natural light. They have their original pine floors in beautiful condition, and all have extra closet space, a rare find in homes of this age. All of the original woodwork is in glorious condition on the second floor as well, with working transoms and gas stoves. The bedrooms have beautiful original mantels that would have surrounded a fire-burning or coal stove originally, but now they have gas inserts. And at the end of the hall is the access to the servants' stairs. Well, we have given you the opportunity today to step back into 1886. The room I am standing in is as it was in 1886. You can see what it was like to live in a true Victorian home. We have pattern, we have color. It's so rich, it's so vibrant. Quite the departure from today's gray sanitary boxes that we all live in. And I think this is absolutely what we should all be aspiring to. Be a maximalist. Join me in the maximalist movement and enjoy this kind of living in your beautiful environment, your own space. This makes me absolutely giddy. I love it. Now, here's the joy of this home. This home is looking for a new steward. Now, while we are once again not the realtors, we're not selling this home. We're not selling this home to you. We have nothing to do with the sale of the home. We don't guarantee the home in any way. This home does happen to be for sale. And if you think you might want to be the new steward of this time capsule of a Victorian splendor, it can be yours for $475,000. The listing details and the agent details can be found in the description below. We hope you've enjoyed this amazing episode of Preservation Travels with Lane and Kevin. If you'd like to see us getting our hands dirty in our own preservation projects, make sure you check out our episodes of Restoring Our Victorian. We have a series on Melly and we have a series on Pearl. Pearl is our project that's ongoing. We'll be returning to the others shortly. And if you want to know how you can buy your own fixer-upper Victorian rehabilitation project, this isn't one of those. Don't think about changing anything in this house. You can find that on our website, ourrestorationnation.com. We have our whole guide to financing your Victorian fixer-upper dream. We'll see you next time on Preservation Travels with Lane and Kevin.